Okay, now that we set up our self-enrollment, the next step is to actually go in and take a look at our course. And this is what it looks like. So we have it divided into those topics like we wanted with our 4 topics. And I need to be able to add information. So I need to come over here and I need to turn my editing on. When I do that, I am able to click inside a little wheel, looks like a little wheel, and I can change the topic names. If I uncheck the default section name, I'm able to call it whatever I want. So I'm going to call it Basics for Setting Up Courses. And then I'm not going to put a summary because I think it's pretty basic. For grouping access, I don't have any groupings yet. I did create a group for my 6th grade teachers, but a grouping is different from a group, and we can watch a tutorial on that later. Again, I like to just keep access disabled for the different activities, but if I wanted to put in a lesson and I didn't want students to have it until Friday, I could click these buttons and set that up. I can put in grade conditions for my percentages. I can add 2 grade conditions to form. I haven't used this because it just seems a little too much. If I were teaching a college course and I had students enrolling, or if I were a full-time online instructor, I might play around with that. And then add 2 user fields to condition. This gets really fun. If you put in an activity and you don't want it to open up, or you don't want it to become available to students until they've completed other tasks, you can set this up. And since it's our first thing, there really isn't anything to do, and so I'm going to save my changes. When I do that, it'll come back and there's my label for our first course, and then I can go in and I can add my activities. You have one view where it's add an activity or resource, and if you click on that, you'll get a box that takes you through all the different icons and what they are for activities. And if you click on it, it'll walk you through and explain what it is, and it'll also give you some ideas on how you can use the activity. So assignment, one thing to keep in mind if you do an assignment is if you have multiple files, make sure you check the box for multiple files so that they can upload more than one page. Chat, it's just an online and one-time in-the-moment activity. So it's you're there, you're talking, you're both online at the same time. Choice is great. It allows you to make buttons that students can click to pick choices, and they can see other students' choices. And I'm not going to talk through all these because you can click through them. The forum is an example of one that has 3 different options within it for a question answer, for a standard simple, or for a question answer sort of thing. I think I just said that. Glossary is one of my favorite new discoveries, where you can have students create word banks, but you can also have them do just get to know you key terms. And the quizzes are very nice once you set up your question banks. So again, lots of different options in here for you to click through and read. For resources, you can click through and it gives you examples. A label is a great way to break up your page if you do URLs. So right now, I'm going to add a URL, and I'm going to go and get my YouTube video that I just created, and okay, so when I put my course in, this is going to be the tutorial I made for setting up a basic Moodle course. And you do have to put a description in there, so basic information for Moodle 2.4. And I'm going to display that description on the page. My external URL, I went out to YouTube and got this, or I could choose my link. I like to display it. When it's a YouTube video, I like to embed it. If it's not a YouTube video that I made and the owner of the video hasn't enabled embedding, then there will be a message on the video that says, go to YouTube. But since I made it, I can embed it. I can also do a new window, so it'll pop up and be a bigger version of the video. But with embed, you're always allowed to just go in, display the URL description, all of that. not that important to mess around with. The parameters, you could play around with this. I like to keep it simple and just move on. If I were doing groupings and I only wanted certain groups to watch this video, I could set up groupings and check available for group members only, and no one else could watch that except for the people in that grouping. Again, I leave the restrict access alone, but if you want it set up so they can only see it on Friday after they've completed a chapter read or whatever, you could click it there. This isn't a grade, so not that important. And there aren't any activities that they need to complete before they see this. I like that they can manually mark it as completed. That's where they get the little box on the side of the screen. And you can check that they actually have to do it. They have to view it to complete it. Otherwise, students could just go through and check the boxes. So then I'm going to save and return to the course so you can see what it looks like. If I turn my editing off, you can click on it without turning the editing off, but I like to see what students are going to see or what it's going to look like. So if I click this, it'll take you to that embedded screen. Again, I embedded it, so now you can watch it through this method. All right. Or you can go into YouTube and it'll open it up bigger for you. But it does give you the option
to set up a new course. You're just gonna.
It just appears, which I really actually like a lot.